Hi, my name is Kate, and today I'm going to be talking about having concussions and being in a school environment. So I've had about 5 or 6 head injuries, and about 3 of them have really impacted my life. Not that the other 2 or 3 haven't, but they were just really significant, and they had a lot of symptoms. And my first one was in 8th grade, and I didn't go to school for a little while because it was really hard. It's like sitting in the classroom. You don't really think about this unless you sit down and list out all the variables that you're putting up against. So sitting down in the classroom and you have all of your peers around you. So it's like if someone moves a paper or something like that, your brain can't filter out what's important and what's not when you're under a brain injury. So not only the people in the classroom, but sitting down and having to try to not focus on what everyone else is doing, and also the teacher and if their instructions are important or not, if that is the main thing we're talking about, the subject, or if they're over here talking to a student, it's do we need to pay attention to that, do we not? With concussions, you don't know. And also learning the subject itself and taking notes. So I have accommodations with my IEP, and IEP stands for Individualized Education Plan, and a 504, what some more people might have heard of, is kind of a loosely based accommodations where it's less homework or breaks and stuff like that. But IEPs, by law, the teachers have to follow these rules. And it's really hard to kind of get to that stage. It's you have to go through testing, and either at your hospital or your school, they have all those kinds of things set up, and if you don't really want to go through that process, a 504 is totally acceptable. But it was really hard. And also with some teachers, it's depending on age groups and stuff. I mean, you could have a totally conservative 20-year-old teacher, or a teacher on the older side, and they might just think that you're faking your symptoms. And I mean, we have that with parents too, because it's hard, and concussions are such a new thing. But especially in school, I've seen some people going against up the lockers, and you just take your finger, and you just your pinky finger, and you just kind of drag it. If I were to take this book and this is the locker, it's just, you just kind of drag your finger against it so you can keep your balance, because I know that sometimes if your balance is off, that actually kind of helps. And I think also something that helps in school is if you're taking a test, either to take it in a different room, or putting up just kind of it's just those science boards. It's you can kind of put it up in that same trifold, or just even the one side with binders or folders or whatever works for you, and asking to sit in the front of the classroom, so all you have to look at is the teacher and not have to be absorbed by the rest of the class around you. So having folders up and talking to the teachers and telling them whatever you need, and taking breaks. That is so important. And I'm still guilty of not doing this as much as I should, but if you have increased symptoms, if you have if you feel dizzy or nauseous or headaches, it's go out and just go to the bathroom, or take a lap around the school, because you don't want your symptoms to get worse. And then it's if you're worried about missing something when you come back, that is not a concern right now. A concern for you is to get better. So just to take the breaks that you need. And for being in the classroom, there's these overlays, which are a tinted piece of paper. It's kind of plastic. It's what they used to use for photos and stuff. So basically it looks like a filter, but it's putting it over a your book or whatever you're reading, and it kind of gives the night shift mode on the iPhone, and it's, people use it for ADHD and ADD and dyslexia and all those kinds of things, and it's really easy to use. You just put it on the piece of paper, but it gives the eyes such a relief. And also if you wanted to use your finger while you're reading along and stuff, and audiobooks also help a lot, in your English class, if you're supposed to read To Kill a Mockingbird or something, and you're supposed to do 4 chapters by the next class. In theory, that's probably 40 or 50 pages, so it's not too bad, but reading can be really difficult with concussions. So getting an audiobook version of it and just listening to it while you're walking home from school, or in the class when everyone else is, you just plug it in and listen to it, and that helps a lot too. But yeah, those are some tips on being in the classroom and just kind of school-wise. So yeah, thank you.